Y también quiero explicar un poquito en español. La persona que está aquí conmigo, estamos en vivo, están viendo el show de Víctor Trevino, aquí este miércoles de las 6:30 a las 7:30. Pero el representante del distrito, de la oficina del distrito, donde guardan todos los records, se llama Loren Jackson. Y él es la persona que está aquí con nosotros, hablando de lo importante de que si van a examinar el pasado de alguien, es legal en la computadora ir a la oficina del District Clerk y ahí, sabiendo el nombre y el día de nacimiento, pueden saber si una persona tiene un record o si la corte tiene una sentencia, que todos tenemos que estar pendientes. Si alguien va a hacer un contrato con su casa, para arreglar la casa, informarse con quién estamos platicando aquí, qué es el pasado de esta persona. Y si se ofende gente porque quiere checar el pasado de ellos, pues que mejor vayan y busquen otro trabajo ellos. Usted tiene el derecho de saber, quiénes son sus vecinos, pero no puedes ir a preguntarle a ellos. Tienes que saber su nombre y su día de nacimiento. I was just saying in Spanish, ladies and gentlemen, the same thing you've already heard in English, how important it is for us to know what our district clerk's office does. And Loren Jackson here being in person, live on the Victor Trevino Show, taking your calls. So again, we'll open up the lines and you have calls or questions or comments. But I wanted to finish up the jury. We didn't get finished on how important the jury summons is. Tell us, besides knowing that is something that makes this country unique. We all know that, and why it's important. But there's legal issues involved also, even though you give people opportunities. They can change their dates. Si le dan una noticia que tiene que ir al jurado, puedes cambiar la fecha, si no puedes ir, pero no nomás ignorar. We just can't ignore these summons.
Absolutely not. And, ignoring a jury summons, what will happen is the first time, if you fail to show, you'll get a failure to appear notice that comes in the mail. The failure to appear notice will advise you of the legal ramifications and potential penalties that could be involved for ignoring the summons. Certainly, from a legal perspective, you don't want to get found to be in contempt of court simply because you ignored a summons. But really what we like to do is we like to focus on the more positive aspects of coming out. We understand it's a burden for a lot of folks. I mean, you're giving up potentially a day's pay, you're coming down to park, you're paying money to park and to do those things. But I think the important thing is there's several rights that we as citizens sometimes take for granted. Voting is one of those. I mean, a lot of times we just don't get to the polls and vote. But jury service is also another one. If you think about it for a second, there's some very important ways that every American, that every citizen, and every person in the United States can serve, whether it's military service, public service, community service, but the two that are overlooked are voting and jury service. In jury service, by coming out and by reporting, yes, you might get picked to be a juror, but more importantly, you are going to be the judge, because it's going to be you making that determination whether to acquit or convict somebody who's been accused of a crime, or you might be judging the facts of a case, determining whether or not to award money damages or maybe child custody. So it's an extremely important responsibility and something that should never be taken lightly.
And I guess the legal aspects also, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that a judge could order a police officer to go and I guess arrest you and bring you to the court to serve on the jury. A judge even has the right to order an officer to go out into the streets and find some jurors that they can bring back if the need is there. But failure to respond to a jury summons, si ignora uno el propósito de que tiene que ir al jurado, se puede ser la persona arrestada y traer a la corte. So es mejor hacer el plan para ir o si no llamar antes para cambiar la fecha. So it's better to show up or make plans to change the date. They'll give you another opportunity, but not just to ignore the jury summons.
And if the date is inconvenient for you, if we called you, for example, tomorrow and it's inconvenient, simply access our website at hcdistrictclerk.com and you'll see a link there that says jury services. You just click on it And from right there, you can reschedule your date. You have up to 6 months in which you can reschedule. So we would just encourage you to do that instead of just simply ignoring the summons.
And again, getting back to the district clerk's office, we talked about the jury summons, checking someone's background, but you know, there's other areas of responsibility that your office has.
Absolutely. One big thing that we do that's often overlooked is the fact that we provide customer service on behalf of the Attorney General's office for child support issues. I mean, whether it's child support payments and those kinds of matters. In fact, for anybody who is receiving child support, in order to receive child support by the courts in Harris County, you can come to our website, and on our website you can simply click the child support link, put in your cause number, and be able to find out information about when the last payments were received, how much was received, when's the next anticipated payment, and all of those kinds of things. So it's a very encompassing job in terms of what we do. But again, this information we're providing to you on a website that you have free access to 24/7.
All right. Let me get to this caller who's been waiting.
Sure.
You on the air? Go ahead, please. You're on the air? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'd like to know if someone who committed a crime, can they serve jury duty?
It's a good question. We'll answer it over there. Thank you. Thank you.
That's a good question. If somebody's committed a crime, one of the automatic disqualifications from jury service is if you've been convicted of a felony or a crime of moral turpitude. Now, a crime of moral turpitude includes your basic, lying, cheating, stealing, your fraud, theft, those kinds of offenses. If you've had a traffic ticket, that's not going to get you excused from jury service.
And is that automatically done? The question again, ladies and gentlemen at home, the caller said, if you've been convicted of a crime, does that disqualify you from jury duty? And as our district clerk mentioned, Lauren Jackson stated that only a felony and also a moral turpitude, right?
Right, a felony level offense or a crime of moral turpitude, and that is an automatic disqualification.
So does the system do it automatically?
No, you will still have to claim that exemption from us. There's a distinction between exemptions and disqualifications. Technically, you're disqualified from serving, but obviously we don't do a background check on every single person called for jury service. We're summoning anywhere from over 10,000 people a week.
And as a matter of fact, there's other factors that people can use.
Absolutely.
Right? For if you're over a certain age.
Over 70 years of age, you can claim, and that's an exemption, not a disqualification. And in fact, just to let the viewers know, last year we had a lady who showed up for jury service that was over 100 years old. She wanted to be there and did not claim the exemption.
So you don't necessarily have to feel like you don't have to go. Yes, if you're not able to and though you qualify for the exemptions, you can use that. A college student.
Absolutely. Full-time college student, if you're the primary caretaker of a child younger than 15 years of age, or if you're the primary caretaker for an invalid, if you can't read or write, those are all exemptions that you can claim.
Okay, let me get this caller and I'll follow up. How do you know if someone's telling you the truth or not? I guess that's the other. Well, okay. Let me leave it for when we come back.
Sure.
You on the air? Go ahead, please.
Hi, I was wondering if I heard correctly. He said it was $40 a day for jury duty.
No, $6.
Oh, okay.
$6.
$6 the first day, and it's $40 for every day after the first day if you're selected onto a jury panel.
Oh, if you're selected?
Well, even if you're not selected, but most of the time you're dismissed that first day. If you do get selected for the jury panel and come back the second day, that's going to be a $40 payment for you for every day thereafter.
I didn't even hear that. Caller, you were pretty well. I didn't hear that. So we can apply? Where do we apply?
Well, it's automatic. So in other words, when
we can apply for the job there? That was a good call. You heard correct. Thank you. I think she heard correct.
Yes.
So it's after you get selected.
Well, it's not just after you get selected. What it is usually you come in the morning or in the afternoon panel time. If you're brought over to the courtroom, most of the judges will keep you there until they actually have their panel selected and then have the panel come back the second day. It's very rare that you'll have an actual panel of folks come over and come back a second day. That usually only happens in capital murder cases.
Cuando lo llaman a usted para ir al jurado, el primer día nomás son $6 que le dan, pero si lo escogen para servir en el caso que está pendiente, le dan $40 al día mientras que el caso esté pendiente, hasta que concluya el caso.